Creative Tech Podcast.
Hello, Kenan.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for attending to our podcast today.
Yes, thanks for having me.
So please imagine there are many our audience for your amazing journey. So could you please introduce about yourself, your name and what you do?
Yeah, my name's Kenan Akbas. I'm a product guy. So I do startups. I'm on my third one right now. I built an electronic health record system for traditional Chinese medicine almost 10 years ago. Since then, we sold the company about 2.5 years ago and started a couple more. One is called Handcraft Health. It's a prescription fulfillment for health and wellness practitioners. And then I also have a product management tool called Alignwith. When you're managing product in a product management tool, it's primarily a technical tool for technical teams. And what we've done is we've bridged the technical and non-technical. So it is a product management tool that automatically creates shareable content that you can give to your go-to-market teams. And that's usually an entirely different step and process of having to communicate with all the different stakeholders.
Amazing. Cool. And then if I remember correctly, so you have unique, work experience for from the first, you were in the medical industry, correct?
Yeah. And before that, I was an artist. I was a photographer. And before that,
really?
I've done lots of little things, I think right out of high school, I started, I was actually a licensed real estate salesperson. I used to go around New York City trying to rent apartments and sell apartments.
Nice.
So...
Your hometown is New York, correct?
Yeah, I'm from New York City, yeah. Well, I'm born in Brooklyn, raised in Queens, lived in Manhattan for a long time, Long Island, and then back to Brooklyn. And I was in Brooklyn all over. Different parts, and eventually moved to San Francisco to continue my studies in Chinese medicine, and left and moved to Taiwan. I was there for almost 4 years, where I continued to study language and medicine, and that is where I got the inspiration to build an electronic health record system. Was spending a lot of time in hospitals in Taiwan. And so they're using these large systems that look very similar to what you'd see in any hospital, like Epic and Cerner. So I thought, it's not any different in the US. And I felt passionately about creating something for us, for Chinese medicine people. And I did that. That was fun. And that was tough. It was really tough.
Yeah, so tell us about what part was a big challenge, super tough for you.
When we started, we were focused on charting, and once we started developing, we realized, we need scheduling, and we need insurance processing, and clearinghouses, and billing, and all this stuff that there's a lot to think about when it comes to billing alone. Right. So it almost felt like we had built 5 businesses in one thing. Like you could have made 5 different products with what we were like. I could have just built an app that all we did was handle claims for clearinghouses, but that was baked into the platform. I could have created an online scheduling system that was baked into the platform. I could have created a completely separate company, just charting, but that was baked into the system. So it's like, each one of these things were so large in size and so complex, but they were all packed into one thing, So that makes it tough because practitioners, they have a lot of variables in the way that they work. It isn't like, it's like this for everyone. It's so different for each person. So you have to build around these variables, right? Whether it's scheduling or just the way that they take their notes, or it's, it's just, so you have to pick a lane, but you also have to have enough flexibility where you can meet everyone's need. But if it's too flexible, then it gets too complex. And so it's a fine line to dance between simplicity and complexity and meet multiple needs for different types of people who work in all different ways. And so, I do have jealousy of like some companies that have built a very simple application. Shazam, for example, you just press one button and it listens to music and it tells you, hey, this is what's playing. Like, that would be nice, but I don't build stuff like that. I tackle complex, intense problems for some reason. That's just what I've done. Yeah.
I see. So at the time, you create your team in Taiwan or in the US?
No, so I met the founder in Taiwan. Well, my other co-founder, right? So his name is Peter Ungrianu, and he walked by with his wife, and they see, this foreigner reading Chinese, and he wanted to study Chinese. So his wife asks me, like, hey, where are you studying? And it's like fate. He happened to already have a development shop in Romania. I didn't know that at the time. Obviously, we went out to lunch and we talked more, and I just wanted some feedback from him. And he got excited around what we were building, and he said, let's do this. And I think a few months later, we came up with the name Unified Practice. And so I had to learn product from nothing. I knew nothing about software other than being a user, right? Which was helpful. I had to learn trial by fire. I'm looking up acronyms the developers are talking about, technologies, and I'm just trying to keep up. And obviously, after some time, you get it. So I spent many years developing and cutting my teeth on, building one of the harder things you can build in software,
Yeah,
so it definitely wasn't like a dating app or just had a few functions. It was some really intense stuff. So yeah.
Speaking of you mentioned simplicity and complexity. So my previous startup and current startup both. So first stage they have just like a simple problem, and then they wanted to solve. But day by day, after build some initial product, they realized other issues, and then, oh my gosh, have to listen to end users' problem, and then it's difficult to prioritize, or sometimes they have to pivot, so that it became a complexity that both company has problem.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially in the early days, you have this idea, even if you went out and validated it, right? Like you talk to users, 20, 30, 40, and you have all this confidence. And you validate the design along the way. It's always different when you get it into users' hands, I mean, even established companies, like we'll build features, we will have validated them long before we wrote a line of code. Validated the designs through the process, and we'll launch it, and there's still things we missed, and it's funny because we'll give it, we do what's called like phased launches. We don't launch to all of our users at once. We do it incrementally. Let's say there's 1,000 users, right? So we'll give it to 50 people.
Yeah.
And so 50 people will tell us what's wrong. And so we'll fix it, and then we'll launch to 100, and then 500, and then 800, and then 1,000. When you launch even to that last leg, that group of 1,000, there's still stuff you missed. The only thing you get out of it is that you don't piss everyone off all at once, but it gets better along the way. So, all the way to the bitter end of giving it to users, you find out what's wrong with it.
Okay, Kenan, next question.
Sure.
So your newest company is to make software about product management, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So why did you come up with this idea?
Yeah, why?
Yes.
I tend to be a mission-driven person. I'm not a task-driven person. I have to have a purpose and a reason to feel motivated. Like I have to really care about something. So scaling up the previous company, Unified Practice, staying aligned was when it was small. As it got bigger, it got harder and harder and harder. The bigger we got, the harder it got. the more departments, the more teams, the more people, the more tribalism, the more finger pointing. It's just like, how do we stop this? How do we create more harmony? Well, we need to communicate better, like in most relationships, right? So whether it's personal or business, right? How can we bring people closer to the product and business? If we want people to understand what we're building and why we're building it, if you don't bring them closer through your product, you have to constantly repeat yourself, and you have to create slideshows and have cross-functional meetings and just put a lot of effort into driving the message to your stakeholders. Okay. It's a lot of work for products, and it's just part of the job. The thing is that we also are struggling for time to do additional research so that we can find out how to build or improve the products that we put out into the world. I saw a way that we could automate a lot of this communication so we can give time back to the product managers to be able to keep doing what they're doing, and our software could just take care of it for them. And that's what we do. We give you a full product management tool so you can gather customer feedback and connect it to ideas and validate them, and all the way up into mission, vision, company strategy, etc. And what we do is we take all that information and we create presentations for the strategy, for the features, for the releases, internal release notes, customer-facing release notes, all automated in a click using AI and design automation. This way we can give time back to the PMs, and the people now receiving this information, those go-to-market teams, right, get the information in a way that's low cognitive load, and that just creates more harmony in the organization. Yeah, we just let product managers write PRDs and we create presentations out of those. So it's pretty awesome. And it hasn't been done before. We're the first to do it. We're the first to approach the problem way. That's again, I think, something that excites me.
I see.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's cool. Yeah, I would love to try to use the AI, utilize AI, and then we can get summarized stakeholders speech or something.
Yeah, communication. Absolutely.
Yep. Communication.
Because you want people to understand what you're building and why you're building it. But not everyone is going to be okay with one way of communicating.
Yeah.
And so I can't give them technical information. It's too much. That's something you give to technical people. They're comfortable with that. Sales, support, success, marketing, they need a lot of detail, but not as much as a technical team. They need just enough, and they need it in a format that isn't overwhelming. And that's not something product teams spend a lot of time. They're not going to give your internal release notes to their designer, if you know what I mean. It's not happening. So, and then when we talk about the customer needs to hear things a certain way, and definitely with less detail than your internal facing teams, because they need a certain amount of detail to either sell, support, market, or whatever, their role is. So each person you have to talk to a different way. And there's someone, whether it's the product team or product managers or a product marketing manager that needs to communicate this. We take a lot of pressure off them because we automatically do it, and they can just refine it, and we give them their time back. So we've created a framework so that you can build true north, so that if an idea comes, right, that you have, and it's going to be very clear from early on that it doesn't connect to your strategy. And if it doesn't connect to your strategy, you shouldn't be building it, because you'll never meet your goals. Or if you do, it'll take a lot longer than you had ever hoped, because instead of going in a straight line, you're zigzagging, right? But we should do this, we should do that, we should do this, we should do that. And so we have a framework that just keeps you focused and on a path. Yeah, do you want to say hello?
Yes.
Okay, see you both.
Bye.
Cute. Your daughter.
Yeah, she's so cute. Yeah.
Yeah. But I love that you mentioned true north. We have to aim, but sometimes many stakeholders argument, and then like all cannot go straight.
Right.
And then like we lose many resource and time. It's happened.
Yeah, the opportunity costs and everything else. And this is where data comes in. Because I think I often hear complaints from product managers in the industry that CEOs are making the decisions and throwing everything off track. And, it is up to product to help them understand that it does not connect to strategy. And by showing them the evidence, now it might not work for everyone. Of course, it depends on the company, the CEO, the culture. But for me, I have been able to manage those uncomfortable moments with C-suite, with no doubt great ideas, or maybe they're not great. Maybe they're just crazy. And I have to work with them in a way that I can show them that, hey, this doesn't connect with our strategy. And if we do it, this is the effect it's going to have. And we're not going to get to where we need to get when we want to get there. Are you okay with that? And of course the answer is going to be no. And so you have to put them in a position where they can answer the question and not you tell them like this is going to, you show them. And I think that's part of the role of someone either in product leadership. And if you don't have leadership at the company and you're just a product manager, you still need to, at least hopefully your company has a culture where you can sit with the founder or someone and show them the data to say, we're making a bad business decision if we go in this direction. You have to bring them to your side, and data is the thing that helps create that harmony. Because everyone can argue all the time, but almost every argument I have had at a company was ended because I brought the data to show we were going to make a bad decision. Then you have to take the time to gather the data and compile it and show them, hey, here's the situation. And you don't say no to the idea. You say like, okay, if we do this, this is the result. And if we, continue on our path, this is the result. And you already know the answer, but you're helping them come to your side and make that decision for themselves. And I think that is something that often gets overlooked and product managers often talk about. I think it's our job to present the impacts and let them make the business decisions. Yeah.
I love that. I am a product designer, so kind of a similar situation happen a lot. To convince stakeholders, we had to be a data-driven, and then we can show proof from the data, and then, we can convince. Yeah. Okay, next question, Kenan.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so if I remember correctly, you grew up in New York, and then now you are living in Colorado.
Yeah,
right?
in Denver. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Tell us about the reason why you chose living in Denver, Colorado.
Yeah. So Denver is a great place to do a startup. I was in San Francisco, and that was fine when the company was tiny. And we also had an office in Brooklyn, but kind of our team was distributed. And I wanted to bring everyone into the same place. But doing that in San Francisco didn't make sense financially. Salaries were high. Talent is difficult to find. And there's a lot of tax implications. So when you're a startup and you don't have money, not a great place to be, contrary to belief, right? So especially if you found product market fit and you're starting to scale. So I started to hear about Denver, and I came and checked it out. And I was like, wow, this place is pretty great. Once I got settled in, I think the thing that stood out to me the most was the entrepreneurs here were so open to maybe finding a way to work together or help each other out. But there's a really vibrant startup scene. It reminds me of Fukuoka in a way, like what's happening in Fukuoka with this focus on creating startup culture there. We're not San Francisco. We're Denver. We're different. And just like Fukuoka's not Tokyo, right? A lot of investors here, a lot of great companies that come out of Denver, and a lot of events. Really strong product community. So, yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so interesting. Well, I didn't know that. Yeah, I should visit to Denver.
Oh yeah.
I may going to San Francisco in June, so why not? I can visit.
Yeah, come.
Denver
It's
too.
it's not far. So.
Oh really?
I'll be your guide. So.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah,
All right.
I can say your family.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so last question, Kenan.
Sure.
Tell us about your dream in 5 years and 10 years
Yeah.
for your private and your career, whatever.
Yeah, I'm not a founder that wants to create a lifestyle business. It's not like I don't want to have a company forever. Not because I don't love doing it. I just like building stuff. So my goal is to always scale and sell. I'm not looking for something to pass down to a family member or something. I like building stuff, and I like building it with scrappy bootstrap teams to where we can get that 0 to 1, and then the idea is to scale and sell. Once I sell either one or two of these existing companies, you'll laugh at my goal here. Because it has. Yeah, I think you will. I want to open a microbrewery in Fukuoka.
Really? Brewery? So your passion is like a local beer?
I make beer. I make wild ale. I love Japanese cuisine. Part of it is I just love this fermented flavors. I love natto. I love, really old miso. I like that funky fermented flavor, and that's something that I feel, in the beers that I make. That is a lot of what I like to, showcase is the flavor of the yeast, that is there. And oftentimes, because a lot of times when people make beer, they're featuring the hops, lots of hops, so hoppy you can't even taste the grains, right? So I like balance. I like to taste hops and grain and also yeast. That's an important part of beer, and I love to taste that. And I would love to live in Fukuoka and just make small batches of beer for the city and locally. I don't even care about scaling big. Just have fun, make beer, and that's a goal of mine. Once I get through working on these projects in tech, I want to go back to working with my hands.
So beautiful. I love it.
Yeah, I love making beer, and my wife is from Kumamoto, but has a lot of family in Fukuoka.
Nice.
She's from Kyushu, and I love yame. My favorite tea in all of Japan is yame tea. It's the best.
I see.
I'm not talking bad about any other tea region. I'm saying my favorite is yame tea. That's
yame tea.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for your amazing journey and wisdom today, Kenan.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me, and this is great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, let's talk again soon.
All right, perfect. Thanks.
Thank you. お疲れ様です。